good morning, bonjour, buonasera. Welcome to Life's Questions and Lessons. I'm your host, Charity Youngblood, and I am so excited and grateful that you are here with me today. This podcast is unedited because life is unedited. As always, we'll get started with a question and whatever activity you engage in to explore your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, please feel free to do. So today's first question is, why haven't I started? Why haven't I started? So Saturday, we had a wonderful event in partnership with Lean In MSP and the Podcast Creator Network. And it was all about podcasting like a boss. And we got such great feedback, or we received such great feedback. We will definitely be hosting the event again. It was virtual because I really feel like you shouldn't have to live in a certain place to have, the opportunity to share knowledge and to connect with people and, do all of the things in our, virtual world that we're able to do. But it was a really awesome event. And one of the things that really came out of the event, which it was for people who want to podcast or want to start a podcast, as well as existing podcasters. And then we kind of separated into groups depending on, interest and need and challenge, etc. But one thing that came out of the people who wanted to start a podcast and, it was kind of a theme that I've seen in different places. So I thought it would be really great to bring to the podcast today, is this idea of having to have all these things together, whatever the elements are, right? But having to have all these things together before you start. And my suggestion, whether you're starting a podcast, whether you're starting a new project, whether you're learning a new language, whether you're, pivoting into a new job, it really doesn't matter what it is that you're starting, but you're really giving yourself the time to explore the why you haven't started. Like, what is really standing in your way to start? So I'll go back to the example of the podcast for a second, because sometimes people, really want to start a podcast and they have the story, they have the topics, but they'll say things like, well, I need to have this really expensive mic and I have to have a website set up. I have to have this, I have to have that. And my suggestion is really like, well, hold on. First of all, think about who this podcast is for. So for me, I always think about her. Everything that I do is for her. What does she need to hear today? What question is she struggling with today? What has she heard from, what narrative has she heard in society that is kind of coming into conflict with her beliefs and her values and the way she wants to live her life? So for me, when I started the podcast, it wasn't really, yes, I had those concerns and those questions of, what the text should be and all those types of things. But I still started because I said, you know what? Does she care if I don't have a $5,000 mic? No, because she wants to hear the message that I'm delivering. She wants to feel seen and heard. She doesn't care if I have 5,000 listeners or 5 million listeners or 0 listeners. She wants to hear what I have to say and go, oh my goodness, I'm not alone in my struggles, in my challenges, in what I'm feeling, going through this self-discovery journey that I'm on. So I really challenge you to think about that in a different way. If you're starting a podcast, obviously that's, the example that I mentioned, but maybe you're not starting a podcast. Maybe you're starting on a new health journey and you're looking more into losing weight or weight management or eating a certain type of way. It's really exploring the why you haven't started in a deeper way and also more of an alternative to, well, I don't have the equipment. Like, what is really standing in my way? What beliefs or stories am I telling myself that is stopping me from starting? And I really challenge you to do this in curiosity as always, right? We're not here to judge ourselves. We get enough judgment from everybody else in the world. So no need for us to do that to ourselves. But those are the questions I had on my heart. Really, really hope this was helpful for you. As always, please rate or review this podcast wherever you're listening to my words. And if this episode was helpful for you, please share it. We are here in this world to help each other. So if this was helpful for you, it is probably going to be helpful for someone else. And until next time, take care.